You cannot be a doctor or a nurse if you don't love people. If your temperament is on the high side, don't kill somebody.
I just realized that it was difficult for me to not be in the middle of a problem. It's like when there's something happening, you start see me pull mouth like, so what are we going to do?
Before I went fully into event hosting, I had a 9 to 5. I mean, I still have a 9 to 5 now, but like it's
Dimeji has money.
I beg you, my helper. I beg you, I'm looking for money. The major problem that we have in our generation is identity, and that's why a lot of people have personality problems, because you actually haven't discovered who you are as a person.
Hello everyone, my name is Arilo Ibrahim and welcome to the BTV podcast. With me here is...
Hi, my name is Dimeji Caxton and I'm on the BTV podcast.
Yeah, so we have Dimeji in the flesh. So who is Dimeji?
So first, I think I'm a weird person, but majorly for serious people, I'm an event host, I'm a volunteer, and a multi-potential. I think my superpower has been creative, so I'm a creator. I do everything that has to do with content creation and PR.
Amazing. And today we're going to be talking about navigating career paths, the place of personality in one career street. And for me, it was easy for me to ask Dimeji to jump on this because I've seen him, do what he does, and he does so effortlessly. It's like he's not even putting so much pressure into it. It's like getting paid for what you enjoy doing, which is like, it's just so sweet. It feels like soft life. But I'd like to ask that, what role does personality play in job satisfaction and career choice?
That question is very deep, but yeah, I think it plays a very important and major role, depending on what you're trying to achieve in your career. Mm-hmm. So I can be a very, very, I can be the opposite of what my career needs me to be and still have a great career. But would I enjoy that career path? No. So, but if my personality syncs or has a great synergy with my career choice or path, I think it helps. My Yoruba people after me, H factor, but I think it helps for me to be able to get to the peak of whatever my career path is, because my soul, body, spirit, and personality is in great synergy with that career path that I've chosen. So yes, I think it's a very important thing that whatever it is that you would like to do or you want to do, it's something that syncs with your person. That way you're able to achieve the full potential of that career to your own ability. I hope my English.
I mean, from the HR standpoint, most times we interview people, and there was one time we're interviewing someone, and the role was for an admin role. Yeah. The person felt it was, I think, finance. Mm-hmm. So when we were having the interview, we're like, no, we have the wrong job. I was like, no, I can do that too, And at that point, I'm like, why do you think you would not struggle? All right, Dimeji, so I would like to ask, do you think that there are specific personality traits that are more suitable for a career path? Or do you think that, are you of the belief that anybody can decide to be anything they want to be, regardless of their personality?
Again, those two statements and questions are correct. Anybody can decide to be anything, regardless of whatever personality trait that they have. But like I said at the beginning, there are certain personality traits that are required for certain career paths and jobs. You cannot be a doctor or a nurse. No, let me not even say doctor. A nurse if you don't love people. If your temperament is on the high side, don't kill somebody. Yeah, you get. So you cannot also be a nurse if you are. I mean, I feel like the basic traits of every individual should be empathy, compassion, and all of that stuff. But there are certain levels that is required for certain professions. Like for medicine, I think you need a very high level of it, because empathy is very important. There are certain times where I've heard of cases where doctors, naturally, if they were supposed to be professional about what they were doing, they wouldn't have done what saved that person's life. But because of the personality that they had, the empathy that they had, the compassion that they had on that person, they were able to go the extra mile, and that was what saved the person's life. Now, if you are now a business person or you're a soldier, you don't. I mean, this is my own opinion. I don't think that you need empathy. So that I know that we will send you to war. You will now have empathy on our enemy now come and bomb us. So yeah, but so anybody can do anything, but again, I feel like there are certain personality traits and personalities that are best suited for certain career paths. Just like I've given the example of medicine. For my own line of work, which is events, media, and all of that, I think that you have to be a people's person. You have to be a happy. Did I say education? You have to be a happy person. Very, very important, because I think that we have like media is very important. Media has great impact on a lot of people. You need to spread that happiness. You need to you need to be that happiness from you needs to be contagious to other people. So you see that it's again anybody can do anything, but it's also very important that certain people have certain career path because of their personality.
Yeah, and to reiterate what you said, I know that for me, yeah, I used to be like a very artsy person. There's no time. I believe that there's no time to waste time. Like,
Always on.
do you understand? But when I decided to go into HR full time, I realized that there was no way this was going to work because it needed me to have emotional mastery. It needed me to be able to, embody my emotions so much that I can read through you, but you don't even know what is going through my head.
Yeah.
So I'm pissed that you really cannot read through me at that point. And that's when you say that anybody can be anything. I think that most times it is easier for you to be these things when you have a passion for that thing. So it fuels the energy to want to be better at it. Yeah. So So I think I totally agree with you.
I agree with you
on
too.
that. But most times when you find yourself not trying to evolve, it means that there's probably a problem. I think that it means there's probably a problem.
Yes, I'm a firm believer that change is the only constant thing in life. Every other thing, I don't know, but change is the one thing that is constant in life that will always happen. So if you're not evolving, you're not changing, you're not growing, there's a problem.
Yeah.
And like I said earlier, your career path also has the great ability to change the kind of person that you are. Take you for instance. Now you went into HR, and HR had the ability to take you from being that no time for ceremony to that okay, let me be more empathetic, let me be
understand
more
what people are saying.
what are you saying before I just give you like no excuses, because I had a boss, it's like my mentor now, he used to always say no excuses, no matter whether you are dying, no excuses.
I hope he's an HR person.
No,
Awesome.
it worked perfectly for him because he's a businessman, he's a manager, he needs to get the job done. He can't be giving clients excuses. But then there was another person that had the great personality to fit, like to complement that his own personality, and the person will be the one to say after he has told you no excuse, that one will call you and say,
calm everyone
talk
down.
to me, what's going on? And then it worked, So it worked for him because he needed to get the job done. I mean, I understand that you can't be taking empathy every time to the battlefield, which is your business place, because you need to get the work done. So I think it's actually right that your career path can also affect your personality and and it's okay because growth is important.
Very, very. I mean, now let's take it down to you. About 2, 3, 4, 5 years back when we used to volunteer, I know that most times whenever I probably am the project manager and I call you to say, Dimeji, I need you to host an event. Once you get the mic, it's like Dimeji is another person. And after the event, you're looking for Dimeji. Dimeji has disappeared. I'm like, where's Dimeji? He's like, I'm like, I don't understand. This was the Dimeji that was everywhere like 20 minutes ago, And I've seen you evolved over the years. I would see you, I think last year you did the Aramanda Fest or something like that.
Yeah.
And it was like, so what changed? Would you say that it was the personality that changed? Would you say that what changed? What really changed? Or has anything even changed?
Yeah, like a lot has changed. I've also learned the art of balance. I think balance is the most important thing in life, no matter what personality trait that you have. Certain people need me to be certain things. I'm a very amazing believer. So permit me. I'll take God for instance.
Please.
All right. So I'll take God for instance. God needs to be God to us sometimes. He's God. He needs to be a father. He's a father.
Mm-hmm.
He needs to be our comforter. He's our comforter.
Yeah.
Certain situations need certain personality traits, and that's fine. It's not that you are different. You are having multiple personalities. It's just certain traits need to be more pronounced in certain situations and places. So when Aramanda needs me to be Aramanda, I'm Aramanda. When an event needs me to be the hype guy, I'm all that. When an event needs me to, if it's a corporate gig and it needs me to be very, very strict, not too much talk, get the job done, I'm that guy. And when I need to be myself, I need to be myself. I think the most important thing is to know yourself. I've come to the conclusion, and I might be wrong, that the major problem that we have in our generation is identity. The issue of identity. And that's why a lot of people have personality problems because you actually haven't discovered who you are as a person. The moment you know who you are, you're able to give the amount and the percentage that needs to be given to every aspect of your life, the proper and balanced amount without seeming like you're a confused person. So all the times that you would call me and say, "Oh, come on," and I get the mic, at that point, I need to get the job done. And so I don't care whatever it takes. I need to smile. I can't get angry. I mean, there are times when I will fault because I had not I'd not gotten the full mastery of the art yet, but I still needed to get the job. So whether it's just like radio, whether you just had the worst news, your family somebody just died or anything, when you need to get the job done,
You have to get
you
it
need
done.
to get the job done. So nothing really changed. I grew, obviously. I learned to master parts of me that needed mastering, but I think I've always been the same person. After this, now, I'll most likely just go back to my normal, very quiet self. And it doesn't mean that I'm not a playful person. When I need to be a playful person, I will play, I know. But I think that I spend more time in my head, thinking about a lot of things, trying to make sure that, okay, this is right, this is right, this is right. So yeah, that's basically what it is.
Awesome. Oh, so for someone that is just about to start like going into the career space, the person is confused as to. So for me now, I studied English in university.
Yeah.
You're like, do I want to become an English teacher at this point, or do I want to get into tech or what? So what do you tell that kind of person, for someone that is still saying, I don't even know what to do.
Yeah.
I'm just fresh out of there. I'm just here in this space, and the person is, has a certain personality.
Yeah.
What do you have to say to that person?
Like Baskin Mount once said one time, there are two things involved. So I think that it's very important to be very realistic with yourself.
Yeah.
Now, one thing that I always tell people is, if you found purpose, it's not difficult for you to know what you want to do with your life.
Can I put in something there?
Yes.
So this purpose thing is very important, because I personally believe that once you find purpose, 60% of your problem is solved. Especially when you now have the right backing. For me, it's God and God alone. There's no other way to it.
Damn.
It's just like 60% of the problem is solved already.
Yeah.
And you know that you're not doing life alone.
Yeah.
So it's like, for me, when I started HR, I knew what I had.
Mm-hmm.
What I had is what keeps me going. Even on this, when I feel like shame, wrong, and I'm like, I know what I had, and that's like what fuels, the passion.
Yeah,
Sorry to cut you.
Yeah, that's actually very correct, and it just buttresses my point that purpose for me, and I might be very wrong for other people, but I think that whether you're religious, whether you're a believer, whether you're not, everybody has a purpose. Now, for we believers, our purpose is aligned with the purpose of God.
Exactly.
What we want is what God wants for us.
Yeah.
And so whatever we're doing is aligned with God. And if you're not a believer and you stumble across this video, purpose is still very much important. And I think that majority, like Ora said, majority of your problems is gone when you know what you are meant to do.
Yeah, life is just much more easier.
Yeah, it's not going to be like a smooth road, but at least you have a clear direction of
where you're going.
And then another thing that I would back that up with is passion. Now, now this one is two things. Don't take my word for it. Before I went fully into event hosting, I had a 9 to 5. I mean, I still have a 9 to 5 now, but like it's.
Dimeji has money.
I beg you, my helper. But anyways, like I had a 9 to 5. I knew what I wanted to do. I did not leave the realities of having a 9 to 5 then because I felt like passion.
Let it foil me.
I for don't die. So yeah, that's why I said there are two things involved. You can, for those people that are just coming and they want to pick a career path, maybe you study something like me. I did post science. Correlate.
Wow.
But what I did was that I did professional courses, like I did, and that's how I got my first job. Not my first job, but my first major job in the career path I wanted. I went to National Broadcast Academy, and I did a professional course on journalism, presentation journalism, and I met my boss there.
Oh.
He also came to take a course, and after our course was done, he just sent me a message randomly and said, "Do you have a radio station yet?" I'm like, "No." He's like, "Would you like to work?" And that was how I was able to now start in my career of media and PR and all of that. And that was what actually fueled event hosting at the end of the day. So for me, I feel like God really patterned my life well.
So it was a step at a time.
Yeah, because I believe in a lot of process. You can't just jump. So if you're just starting out, just because you have where you're going or you have a passion, maybe it's acting, it's not what you studied. I'm not one of the people that will tell you to just dump everything you studied in school and jump.
Yeah.
One guy will finish you.
As in,
Have a plan, like know what you're doing while you're chasing that thing that correlates with whatever personality that you have. Get something that brings in and pays your bills first. So to answer the story and all the long stuff that I've been doing, I think that it's just very important for you to know yourself, know where you're going, and have a working plan. If your career path, if it's like you that studied English, and I'm sure you didn't just jump into HR.
yeah.
There was a process to how you got there. It might not be the same for everybody. There's no past questions to life. It might not be
Yeah.
the same, but again, know yourself, know where you're headed, and set up a working plan for yourself. But don't, you studied English, you know that you're good with English. You now wake up one day and say you want to go and you want to become an engineer, just like that, like without planning your steps well, you would fail at it. So that, I don't know if I answered the question right, but to the best of my knowledge, I think that it takes you know where you're going. It takes you having a plan. Know yourself. That's what I would just say. Know yourself, because if you don't know yourself, you can't know what suits you well.
Yeah.
You will just pick the
And
wrong
everything
career
will just
path.
look like it's perfect for you.
Yeah, but you wake up one day when you're 40 and realize you're depressed.
Yeah. I mean, for me, why HR? I didn't even know what HR was while I ventured into HR.
Yeah.
And it was volunteering. I found my purpose while I was volunteering. I just realized that it was difficult for me to not be in the middle of a problem. It's like when there's something happening, you shall see me pull my like, so
Then
what
you
are we
fix
going to do?
it.
you know? And, I just joined in, and someone else was like, have you done this before? I said, no, I just feel like there's a problem. Let's solve it
Let's
together
fix it,
now.
yeah.
Like, do you get? And someone told me, said, Orange, you should work in the HR space. I said, what is HR? I think I was like in part two or part one there. I think part two. I was like, what is HR? And that was when I started reading about it. I was like, okay. It's like this my thing can actually, do you
Yeah.
understand, can actually function somewhere. And that's why it's very important that you know yourself.
Yeah.
You know what works for you, what would not work for you, so that yeah. So while we wrap things up, I just really want to know, what do you think, for people that are trapped, they feel trapped with their career path, because they just ventured into me because their friends or their parents pressured or anything. So what do you think? Do you think it's too late? What would you advise someone that feels trapped?
First thing is, it's never too late for anything. The only time it's too late is when you don't do it. So for every time that you did not do it is when it was late, but it's never too late to actually switch. I can't remember. I always say this thing, but I don't know why I've not gone back to check his name. The owner of KFC started at a very late age. I think around 60. I'm not sure. Don't quote me or don't say this boy gave you lamba. But yeah, I think he started very, very late. And KFC is everywhere today. Sorry, I'm promoting any brand, but do you get? So it's never too late. And if the moment you realize, so the first step to dealing with the problem is identifying that there's a problem.
Yeah.
So the fact that you realize, so if it wasn't by mistake that you realized, the fact that you realize that, okay, this is not for me, means that it's actually not for you.
Exactly.
My friend will always say, the moment you start to second guess a thing that is major in your life, you need to sit down and evaluate the whole situation. Like, why are you second guessing it for something that you're sure about? So it's not too late. So you've identified that there's a problem. The next thing you need to do is find out what is actually for you. Sometimes we take other people's problems because we feel like we are going on the same journey, but we're not. So your friend, maybe you guys studied the same thing and then they decided this is the path they wanted to go, but because, by proxy and association, you decided to also carry their burdens and go with them on that path. You've realized that that's not for you. Now you need to find out what is mine, and then don't feel too shy or too embarrassed to start over. That's one thing that I always tell people. It's never too late to start over. If you need to go back and take another course. I recently hosted an event for someone that did studied law and then went back to do sociology again.
Wow.
In the same school. Like after a year of finishing, went back and did sociology again. And I'm like, man, that's pretty amazing, sir. And the man is way old now. I'm sure he can't even remember that he took that little pause to do that, and now he's doing really amazing. Has like the best career path and all of that. So yeah, if you've realized, you need to also now fix up. Identifying a problem doesn't solve it. It only tells you there's a problem. Then you solve the problem by knowing yourself.
Very important.
Looking for what is yours and then chasing that. And in knowing yourself, you identify your flaws, your weaknesses, your strength, and then that would now be the guidance and the compass to picking what is now for you. But it would not make sense to identify that something is not for you and then now go and pick something that is not now for you again. That would be really, really sad. So knowing yourself is very important. And let me just chip this in. There's no better way to know yourself than, spending enough time with yourself. I always tell people the longer you stay inside, the longer you last outside. And I'm a firm believer that life is really spiritual. I get that, some people just do life, but even people that are just doing life, they're not just doing life. You're either on this side or you're on this side. And it's just advisable that you have someone that knows you better than you. And there's no other person that knows you better than you than God. So yeah, life it's not going to be a free flow.
Yeah.
God did not say there won't be. He said he will bring you out. He will be there with you. He did not say there won't be problems, So yeah, the best person that knows you. And that's why I'm always just praying prayer, search my heart and expose me to me. So yeah, that's all I have to say.
Yeah, that is very important. I mean, it is very important that you know yourself.
Yeah.
My spiritual father would always say that it is very natural to be challenged, but it is unscriptural to be defeated.
Bam.
Because what the Bible tells us is the assurance of the end.
Yeah.
It's not saying that on your way to that. I mean, do you understand?
Yeah.
But this is, when you're doing life, like you said, life is very spiritual.
Yeah.
And when you're doing life with the backing of God, it just solves a lot of problems. You know that even though there are challenges, I know where I'm going to. I am not going to be distracted. You see the future, yeah. And the assurance is just there. Nothing changes that. And that's like the sweetest way to them. I was telling someone 2 days ago that all of these things going on in this country, imagine doing life without God. How are you even surviving?
Don't mind.
You get, imagine doing life without God.
Yeah.
And it's very important. It's a place of prayer, the place of intimacy with God, so that you know where you're going to, right? And you can also align with that, with that which you've heard, which is very, very important. So it is never too late to start, like Dimeji has rightly said. It is never. And also, Dimeji, I would like to add something. So you're an event host.
Yeah.
But you would say no to some events.
Yeah.
Even though it involves a lot of money.
Yes.
Why?
In 2020, during COVID, God told me something, like God explained something to me, and it was simply, your faith is your reputation. So before then, I used to, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do anything, but you would still maybe see me in an event, hosting an event where they are smoking and drinking. And my defense then was always, I'm not them.
At least I'm not doing what they're
doing. I'm just here to do my job. And I can actually back that up. But there's something I've also learned. Life, you grow in life. You're either growing or you're coming back. And you can't be in Christ and not grow. So
yeah,
there's a problem if you got born again 3 years ago and
you're still the same.
So then
you're doing something wrong.
Yeah, then my level, my knowledge of my father then was not as it is now. I wasn't as wise. I'm not all that wise, but I think I was a little bit too foolish then. And my foolishness was allowed, But as I grew, I learned to understand that your faith is your reputation. Your reputation is very important. Your reputation is the currency that you will spend even when all currencies are gone.
Gone, yeah.
So, what is your reputation? You are not for me, you are not for them is a bad reputation. If you can't take a stand, then you are not for anybody. And not for being anybody. You are casualty in life. So if you are identifying with these people, at least they can protect you. If you're identifying with God, at least He will protect you. So one thing I learned was, as much as I want to do I need money and all of that, I needed to take a stand. And so moving forward, it was difficult. It's still difficult. I'm not there yet, but I told God. So it was now a thing of, I can't do it by myself. So
strength.
I need you. So anything that you know that is not for me, don't give me.
Don't even bring it my way.
So that's why I started to pray that prayer of, let me want what you want. So I started to, instead of, I want something, and I know that because God has assured me countless times in the scriptures that the thought that I have towards you are not to kill you, perish you. Like they're good, they're thoughts of good and all of that, not of evil. And one thing I don't know about other people, the God that I serve does not have the ability to do evil. So I just said, I want what you want. So give me what you want. So as time went on, I was able to now come to the fact where I said, I don't do it. And it now became, it's my brand motto now. When people are reaching out to me, even on my portfolio, is written there. Over the years, I've been able to build a brand that does not involve in vulgarity and all of those stuff.
Period.
And at first, it was difficult because I did lose a lot of jobs.
Yeah.
Even from fellow believers.
And it feels like that's like good money now.
Yeah.
Because these guys will pay.
They will pay.
They'll pay more.
Because even when I started, I used to do a lot of fests then, like a
yeah,
lot of festivals or the rest. I won't call names. I wasn't doing what they were doing, but like whether I liked it or not, I was already being labeled as part of those people. Nobody wants to come and ask you, does he drink or does he not drink? So I decided to take a stand, and God actually repaid
And how's that going for you?
I mean, it's going well. Last year, I was shocked at what God did for me, and it was just a simple request of I wanted it. So 2 years before then, I'd taken a major stand and told God, okay, I will not do any of these things again. This is what I want, and I just told God I want these things. And for everything that I said that I wanted, all the concerts that I said that I wanted, I did not lobby for them. I got them, and so that's why now it's easier for me. So it wasn't even difficult when God told me, yeah, go to your prize and go to your rate card, remove after parties from weddings that are not Christian weddings. And it was just easy for me. I'm just like, okay, now it's just reception and then all of that. So yeah, I mean, it's tough. It's still tough, because jobs are still coming. I'm still thinking, God, I want to pay rent. But yeah, it's one thing is when you have God, you have all. And you can't lose. Like God cannot mismanage your life or your finances or your career. So that's one thing I've decided to. Time is money. So yeah, that's it.
Yeah, amazing.
Thank you.
Once again, someone I love would always say that wherever God will not take me, may I never get there.
Amen.
Whatever God will not give me, may I never have it.
Yeah.
Because it's just, how do I put it? Not having what God doesn't have. When you're in some certain place, you feel like there's a presence that has left you.
Yeah.
And you feel empty.
You feel empty.
At that point, something is void.
It's wrong.
And you want to. So it's very important. And I really, really celebrate you for that, because I've seen that you've been very consistent with the whole, Christian thing. And that's really going well for you. Dimeji has money once again. Please bill him.
I'm looking for money.
Yeah, so I think that's a wrap already.
Thank you
so much for coming, Dimeji.
Thank you for having me.
And yes, welcome again to the B2B podcast.
Peace.
Bye.